Hey, caregiver. This is the place where faith meets caregiving and caregivers. Find strength to keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and keep caring.
Hey, caregiver family. How are you all doing tonight? Happy Friday. We're not usually on Fridays, but what we're doing is we are switching up our night here and there whenever we need to. And so I just want to come on first of all and say happy Friday. I hope each and every one of you have had a great day, a great week. We are at the end of the week, and God has brought us to the end of another great week. I hope that it was for all of you listening. I want to say, first of all, welcome to another powerful and heartfelt episode of the My Favorite Girl Caregivers Corner podcast. I am your host, Priscilla Jean-Louis, and as always, I am grateful to have you joining in with us on tonight. This space was created to strengthen, empower, and inspire caregivers through real, personal, and impactful conversations to keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and by all means to keep caring. And so even as you come in on tonight, I want you to go ahead and do me a favor and go ahead and share the episode, share it on your page, share it with caregivers, share it with family, with friends, however you do it. But we want you to go ahead and help us to get this episode out real quick. Hello, Cheryl Ann. That is my friend right there, Cheryl Ann. She's on tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. She said she's ready for the weekend, and I'm getting there. I guess I'm getting there. My mom's birthday, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But tomorrow, my favorite girl, my mom will be 84 years old. So I'm gonna give her a shout out right now on the podcast. She will be 84 years old, May 16th. And so we plan to celebrate her and celebrate her well on tomorrow. We're going to do some cake and ice cream. And whether she understands what's going on or not, I understand. And I know that it is her birthday. And we still, every year, I still do whatever I can to still honor and to celebrate her. So tomorrow is not going to be any different at all. And so yep, y'all are going to see me posting if you're on social media, if on Facebook. Y'all know I'm going to post her. I'm going to share it because I believe that we honor our parents for as long as we can. So my thing is, she may not recognize much, but she still recognizes nothing. So I'm going to see how many smiles I can get out of her tomorrow, or get her to at least participate in a couple photos for us, and I'll let you all know exactly how that goes. So thank you so much for being on here tonight. And so do me a favor as well, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, tag, share, all of that, the podcast. Go ahead and share it with those who you know would benefit from it. And I would dare to say, and I say this all the time, this podcast, yes, it is for caregivers, but I think everybody who tunes in can benefit from the information that we share on the podcast. And so I'm just taking a moment right now to share it on my pages. And so if you'll do the same thing, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Tonight's conversation is one that I believe that will resonate with so many caregivers. So many caregivers, I believe that it will resonate with, behind the smiles, behind the schedules, behind the strength that people applaud. Sometimes they just think that, you know, caregivers, we and it's not that we're playing a role, but we are strong. We try to be as strong as we can, but behind all of that strength, behind all the things that people can say or will say, there are caregivers out there that are carrying some unimaginable weight, and a lot of them, and I would even dare that there are times that even myself, we carry those things in silence. There's the weight of being needed by everyone, the weight of trying to hold your family together, the weight of caregiving while still trying to be present, as in the case of my guest on tonight, who is a wife, a mother, a daughter, and somehow, she's still a woman who has needs of her own with all of those different responsibilities. And so tonight's episode, if you're on here, you can see the weight she carries. It's the invisible balancing act of being a wife, mother, daughter, and caregiver all at once. I don't know her personally, but I ran across her on social media. And ironically enough, for the very first guest, same thing for this season, for this episode one of this season, same thing. I ran across his and I ran across her post on Facebook. And there was something that she said that I will read in just a little bit that really captured my attention and made me say, you know what, I want to reach out to her and find out whether or not she would be interested in coming on the podcast just to share her story. And so I reached out to her. She agreed to it. We had a conversation, and whether or not she wants it or not, she stuck with me now. So she now has, me, and she stuck with me. And so my guest tonight is Tiffany Boveland. And Tiffany, please let me know if I mispronounce your name. But Tiffany is a wife of 23 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wife of 23 years, a caregiver to her mother who is living with dementia for the past 11 years. And she's also a mother to a 10-year-old daughter. So if you look at those numbers, she has been caring for her mom for 11 years, and she has a 10-year-old daughter. We're going to go into that in just a little bit. But please help me to welcome to the podcast, Tiffany. Tiffany, welcome to the My Favorite Girl Caregiver podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And it is, let's correct it before my husband says, hey, it's Boveland, like Loveland with a B.
Gotcha. Thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly. So there you have it, y'all. I'm just going to stick to Tiffany. So thank you so much for being on here. It's such an honor to have you on here sharing with us on tonight. And so I want to go back to the post that I read that led us to this particular conversation. So I want to read that post and then we'll jump over into our conversation for tonight. On April 8th, you posted, last night didn't end with a post. I was tired, like deep in my bones tired. Caregiving took everything out of me. And at the same time, my husband was reaching for me, putting in effort, wanting connection, wanting us. And there I was, somewhere in between being a caregiver and being a wife, trying to find the balance because both are real, both matter. But some days I don't know how to be everything to everyone and still have something left for myself. So I'm learning that balance doesn't always look perfect. Sometimes it looks like showing up tired. Sometimes it looks like choosing connection anyway. And sometimes it looks like resting. This journey, it stretches you in ways no one talks about. And so that part right there that talked about you being tired and your husband reaching for you, and somewhere in between there, you're trying to figure out caregiver and wife. Take me back to that night and when you made that post. Take me back to that emotion and what was going on there.
So that night, my mom had been suffering from a UTI. In caregiver world, UTI is the worst. It could look like so many different things. And for a person whose memory is leaving, it's tough because she can't voice what's going. She feels uncomfortable, but anytime someone with Alzheimer's or dementia is uncomfortable, it overstimulates them. So she's pacing, she's not sleeping, she's not wanting to eat, she's not wanting to drink. So I had been up with her for 2 weeks with 2 hours sleep. And when I'm that exhausted, I've learned to this is new for me. This is all new for me. The healing, the talking about it. I am a person that is invisible before dementia. Okay. Um, so I'm just I'm just at a loss. I could feel myself um just disappearing, but I still have to show up because I have to take care of that's my mom. I only have one. I have to take care of her. I was married, before this. This isn't a new relationship, and we had struggles before dementia. So those things don't go away. And that night, my husband, he just was not letting up, like you've started doing the invisible journey, and you got this going on. Well, what about me? And I'm like, well, what about me? you know? So that night was just, it was dark. I was feeling dark. I'm praying, and I have a pretty good connection with God, but the noise was so loud in my head. The exhaustion was so loud. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him pull me out, because I'm starting to get real good as checking out of this carnal man and tapping into that spiritual. And that's how I'm able to move through taking care of my mom, getting my daughter for school. Mornings around here, I call it a marathon on top of hot flashes. So that night, I think that was probably the spiritual taking over, if I want to be honest. I have managed to be seen by millions of people who don't know me, that aren't related to me, but they can relate and they know what I'm going through, because we're walking similar journey. It might look different, but we are walking a very similar journey. So when I pour myself out, that's me real-time healing, because I was broken. Before I started sharing, I was broken, and I've been in therapy for 6 years.
Therapy, I tell people all the time.
Therapy allows me to cope, but I still have to do the work.
Yeah. And just so I understand and make sure I heard you correctly, you were going 2 weeks off of 2 hours of sleep. I can't even imagine what that looks like, feels like, how that, I can't even imagine now. I've been on this journey for 10 years, but I've not had I think I may have had maybe once or twice, but she was up for like 24, 36 hours. But, and I can attest to the fact that UTIs in the elderly, especially with those with dementia, is absolutely brutal. It is brutal. And I think the hardest part of all of it, like you said, is just they can't tell us. That is the biggest struggle, because they cannot voice to us what's going on at all. If you don't know the behaviors or know that there's a difference or something going on, they can't tell you. And so 2 hours of sleep, your husband saying, hey, this is what it is. How long after that particular point was it that you decided that, you know what, I need to be able to release what's in, not just to help me, because what we're finding, we'll get to that because we're going to talk about the platform further down, but from that point, that particular post, was it prior to then when you just started realizing I got to talk about
Um, yes, not too. It wasn't too far. That post hadn't. I hadn't wrote that. I had started sharing, and it wasn't too far. But at that point, I had learned that for my very first post, I had learned that um, what I said, a lot of people were feeling that way.
It resonated for so many people.
You know, you think of caregiver, you think of maybe a single daughter, because the statistics tell us a good percentage of these caregivers are the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think about a single daughter, you don't think about there's a whole sandwich generation out here who are trying to balance husband, child. You know, I have one who is, she's like, I couldn't imagine having more than her. I hear it gets easy when you have more kids, but um, uh, the trying to find that balance is so tough, you know. And when my daughter's out the house, and you know, my mother is with her father, I still have a husband, and we still have to be married. And so I do it. My marriage is very important to me. Um, but along this way, I lost myself.
All right, don't go too far ahead of me.
Oh,
Don't go too far. It's all right.
pull it back.
And thank you, because that's leading up to my next question, because caregiving has become such a major part of your life. And so take us back to Tiffany before caregiving. Who were you before you started caring for you?
That seems like so long ago. There were no gray hairs. There was no
You got
yo-yo
that?
dieting.
But your hair is so beautiful.
Thank you. I cut it.
Really, it's so beautiful and thick and
Thank
pretty.
you. It was dead, dead, dead. I chopped it off just to get ready for you and your platform. Uh, but before dementia, I was just a cubicle girl. That was fumbling through life, because like I said, before this, I was a whole person that is the people pleaser, is the I'm Auntie Tiff.
Okay.
So I'm there for everybody. And because hey, it's my family. They need me. I want to be there. I love them. I want them to succeed. I want them to be the greatest. So I lost myself a long time ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
then my dad died, and I couldn't breathe anymore. I literally was walking. My dad makes me emotional, but I'm literally walking through life holding my breath, because my dad was my constant. My um call me at 3 a.m. because we were on a different time zone, and um try to encourage me, because he felt me being depressed.
Okay.
So he will all he was my number one fan. And when he left, a piece of me just kind of went silent.
Okay. How
And
long
then
prior
mhm.
to you becoming a caregiver did your dad pass away?
My dad, let's see, that was two 2 years.
Prior to.
Yeah, 2 years. Two
Geraldine
years.
says one of the worst parts about admitting we've gotten lost in caregiver is the responses of remember you need to take care of yourself. We know, but we can't. And sometimes it's hard to be able to find that time, especially when it's just you. You know, it's just you. Or as you know, with you, you talk about the topic weight she carries, right? Because that weight comes from I'm a wife. You know, you were a wife 12 years prior to becoming a caregiver. And then you become a mother 1 year after become caregiver. And so now you have all these responsibilities, as the title says, all of these things at one time. And so it's not that you don't know that you should be taking care of yourself. It's like, when do I have time to focus on me? Because you said something very key, and that's a whole different conversation for a whole different night. May bring you back on for a part 2 or with somebody else. But when you are a people pleaser prior to this, and you're so used to taking care of everybody else, and then you find yourself here in this space, what has caregiving taught you, even when it came down to, because you were there for everybody else, right? That's what you said. You were there for everybody else, making sure everybody else is good. But now you find yourself in a space where silently you are screaming, asking for somebody to just come see about me, somebody to help me, because now the one that's been giving the help, I need it. What say you?
Well, it's very lonely in the caregiver world. And it doesn't happen all at once. I am my mother's only child. I'm a half sister. So I have brothers, but I am all my mama has. So caregiving made me slow all the way down and pay attention. And guilt has been a big thing for me. I feel guilty for asking someone to help me.
Oh, I gotta deal with that.
You know, life is life in. They have their own things, their own struggle, finance, marriage, whatever it is. My mom, that's my responsibility. So I found myself like, wait a minute, but shouldn't they just want to show up? Should I have to ask? We're family, right? Right? Aren't we?
I think that's the question that a lot of us as caregivers, especially when you're doing it alone, I think that it's probably the most common question that we ask ourselves, that we think of, because we do think that I shouldn't have to ask. I'm number one with that. And I'm learning more to, I don't think I've ever felt guilty about asking. I think I just got to a place of saying, why ask? Because sometimes the why ask comes with, I've asked several times before and nothing has happened. I've asked or I've stated several times before and nothing has changed. So I don't feel a guilt with it. I feel like, why should I ask? But then there are moments when I do feel that, why should I have to if, this is your mother too, or this is your whatever too, right? So I don't think I've had that guilt. Definitely not.
And the guilt is a weird thing. That's part of that part 2 conversation with the people pleasing thing.
We have to everybody else. And one thing about caregiving and being in a space where you're no longer able to do a lot of things that you may have been able to do, being in this space also allows you to sit back and to really see, giving everything I have to this, to them, to whatever. And when you find yourself in that space, that's when you realize who really are your people.
Yeah, like
That's
2 people.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna come back to that though. We might have to really do a part 2 to that. But so you, before becoming a caregiver, you were already pretty silent, stayed in the background, didn't really say a whole lot. Um, what was your mom like before dementia?
The opposite. Okay, Miss Mary Kay is the opposite. Um, she always loved to dance. Good time. She's like the favorite aunt. She one thing she always talks about. She doesn't know my name. She knows I'm something. She calls me Mama.
Yep, same here.
She's always the girls. Did you go get the girls? The girls are her co-workers. So she loved the people she worked with. She loved them. Like that was her life. And so fun. She worked in the movie television industry. She was a production payroll supervisor. So she's the one who writes checks to figure out the money, your hours, and she pushes that check out.
Hollywood life. That's because you all
Yeah.
were, and I didn't say that before I started, but you are actually in California.
Yes, I'm in California.
So she's out there with the stars in Hollywood doing her thing.
Not that glamorous for me, or I don't think even it was glamorous for her. It was just fun. You
Okay.
know, she's very proud of her work. I'm very proud of her as I'm started doing the platform. I'm going through some of her things and I'm like, wow. That's why I had actually done a reel just about her. It's just something that everything kind of like um it's just unfolding, I'm like, oh, I could do it, like I could do this, I could do that.
And if you go on the My Favorite Girl page, or I have this information on here where you can actually go, and I do encourage you to go and follow her platform as well. We're going to talk about her platform in just a few moments, but you can contact her. You can go like, subscribe, follow her on Facebook and Instagram at The Invisible Journey. The Invisible Journey, and I encourage you to go do that. But if you go on there, and I did share one of the videos, you can actually see her mom on there. She's out there dancing. Seems like she's always been the life of the party.
Yes.
And there's something about that music that still keeps them. My mom, music is a soother as well. A lot of it has been the gospel music, but every now and again she'll sit there and she's petting her feet, or she may, and that's very periodic, she may clap her hands, but music is just that universal language that brings everybody back, reels you back in. And so, life of the party. So in terms of the changes that started to take place, when did you start to notice a change in your mom? Okay, something, she's not a normal self.
Okay, so that's part 3 of the conversation, probably. My mother and I love each other deeply, deeply. But we have not been the most cohesive two, considering I'm her only child. I probably was not the easiest. I'm a little spoiled. She did it. She probably she still spoils me, even though she doesn't know who I am. But it was weird. It was like all of a sudden, my husband and I actually, we lived in Las Vegas, and we moved back to California. Because God always will. I'm kind of hard headed, so He will always he like parts the Red Sea for me. Be like, girl, did you get it yet? But so with my mom, I moved back, and immediately when I moved back, I had started having to take over her life, like take over her bills and communicate with her job. And I was like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden she didn't want to drive anymore. And she took a leave of absence for carpal tunnel surgery, and she never went back. After that surgery, we went fast track. And I was trying to figure what is going on. So then I started going to the doctor's appointments, and come to find out she had had a series of mini strokes
Mm.
and didn't tell nobody that
What type of dementia does she have?
So I have been trying to get a specific diagnosis.
Okay.
And her last visit, I was like, well, so what is Louis Bot? What we got? What is the dementia? I'm asking her neurologist, and she said, I don't want to. Kid you not? She said, it is more better to just have dementia as the umbrella, so I can give you the best treatment. When we start getting into specifics, and I was like, that's not making any sense to me. That's one of the reasons why.
Dementia is the umbrella, so that's why that doesn't sound, good to me.
So next week is a whole insurance find new doctors type of thing, because I already drive an hour to get to her doctor visits.
Okay.
So I do not. Dementia it's Alzheimer's.
Okay.
At this point, we're probably we're stage 6.
5, 6. Yeah, that's really different, because how are you going to treat? I mean, not that there's a cure for it, but the different types are different. So to say we just don't, yeah, it is. But anyway,
that's a whole nother medical system.
Yeah. And so what has the last 11 years of caregiving looked like? You've been in this for 11 years. She had these drastic changes. Now, let me backtrack just a little bit. Her not wanting to drive, that may have been like the best thing ever, because there are a lot of them who, like with my mom's still driving. And we actually my brother ended up taking the battery cables off of her car and making her think that there's something wrong with the car. And so after a couple times, she just stopped asking about it. But for a lot of people, as a matter of fact, I literally just did an interview earlier this week, with someone from a newspaper that just did an article on the difficulty that it can become in trying to, take the keys or stop someone with dementia from driving. And so if your mom gave that up,
she gave it up.
It's a blessing, because there are many of them who are just like, no, they still believe that they can drive, and they will, just keep driving. And you end up looking for them. And so those changes, they come, and they do come sometimes quickly. Like my mom ended up she had a lumbar fusion. She had that surgery at 70. I really didn't want her to have it.
Mm-hmm.
She needed it because she had become just bent over just from the back issue. And so at 70 years old, she had a lumbar fusion. And because at the time, I was working for disability terminations. And so I would see a lot of the people who had back issues within a few years, they were right back with the same issue. And so I'm like, yeah, let's not do this. But it was something that she needed. So she did it. And literally, she went from, there were some signs prior to, but man, after she had that procedure, it was quick. It went from, and I believe that there's a correlation between the anesthesia and dementia, that anesthesia does something, but it does. It took her all the way over into full Alzheimer's. She just never really bounced all the way back. And she did get to a point where she was able to drive. She would drive, she would actually pick my children up from school for me. And so one day, my oldest daughter is like, Mommy, I'm scared to ride. what's going on. And she was saying, well, we'll be sitting at the light and the light will turn green and she'll just sit there. And then when the light turns red, she'll start to go.
Oh, wow.
We really started looking at, okay, what's going on. But she had that surgery, she did rehab, she drove, but it was like a fast track. And it's been, gradually progressing ever since. And so not being able to have to take those keys, I'm telling you, that's a level of stress that you can just thank God for.
It was just like she had, I think that my mom sensed something was off.
Okay.
Because she gave me no fight. She handed me the debit card, all the banking, the key to her safe.
Oh, and listen, I am here to tell you that is a blessing from the Lord, because that is not coming at all. For a lot of people, they have to struggle to get all of that. And so we appreciate his grace on that end, because I've talked to a lot of people and it's not the same. I'm usually encouraging people, saying, hey, you go ahead and get this in order, that in order, because once it starts to progress, it may be difficult. Not maybe, it's going to be difficult for you to change certain things if you don't have
Right.
that. If you don't have your power of attorney. In some cases, if you don't have guardianship, but those things, and again, another conversation, but there are some key things that need to happen when your loved one starts experiencing this. And so I want to move on here. Let's come up and talk about your platform. And so you are the one, you sit in the background. I don't want to be seen. I just, that's not who I am. And so out of that, from your journey, from you posting, you have now started your own platform entitled The Invisible Journey.
Yes.
Why did you choose that name for your platform?
If you recall, I said before, when you asked me about who was I before dementia, I was invisible. I was comfortable with disappearing. So
were you invisible by choice, or you were invisible because you just felt like people did not see?
I'm such the oddball compared to the rest of my family. I walk in and they're like, why is she so happy? Why are you smiling? What are you smiling about? Oh, okay.
So you felt like it wasn't okay to smile?
It wasn't okay. I'm gonna smile and be happy because this is how God made me. I'm okay with being this version that I am now, and I'm not apologetic like I used to be. Dementia, I guess that was my gift from the dementia.
So it wasn't until you became a caregiver that you realized, because prior to that, were you acquiescing, or you just calmed down? Okay, I don't want to be too happy because they're going to ask me what's going on, and because you want to please the people, you just kind of back down. Is that what the case was?
Well, with this, with the platform, that was more like me saving myself.
Okay.
I was in a very dark place. My husband had been on the road working in another state. He had really been away from the house for a year, and in that year, and my family all knew that I was alone. In that year, nobody came. Nobody sent a basket. Nothing. I get phone calls, but at that point it was like, I don't even want to take phone calls anymore. I will text because I don't, I don't, I don't hate or dislike any of my family. But it wasn't safe for me. It didn't feel good. If you call and you're telling me that I need self-care and I need to take care of myself, well, how am I gonna do that? When I'm gonna do that? I'm by myself. I have a 10-year-old. Well, then
But
she was
not only
9.
are you by yourself with your mom, you're your mom and your child, and a young child.
The 2 dogs and a house.
Yeah, that's a weight right there. That is a weight, and I feel you on that because that happens a lot. Everybody says you need self care. Self care is important, but if I don't have anybody to help me, when am I going to do it? Genuinely do it, right? When am I going to? When am I going to get away to go and do it for me? Because ultimately, that's really what caregivers want to do. We want to be able to we want to have a website. We want to be able to move. Now, I'm grateful because I do have those that, especially, during the day while I'm working, and most weekends for at least a couple hours. Um, but then even with that, right, most of that time is spent because you spend all week. I have coverage while I'm working, but after 5 o'clock, at 5:30, it's me. I'm home, right? And so the weekends are spent with the things that I have to catch up on. And so the grocery shopping. And sometimes I just wait and I do that after church on Sundays because I may need to take care of something else that has to be handled. Um, and so that is that golden line. You need self care, but I say with
Yeah.
and so you're there, nobody comes, nobody calls, and so take us further. Invisible journey.
So I am spiraling. I have menopause brain. Um, I the walls are closing in because I couldn't take I came it came to a point where I couldn't take my mom out because she'll like she wants to go. Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? And we get out. That's a lot for her to process, and it overwhelms her. Or if we're in the store, her mobility is slowed down. So I go months without leaving the house unless it's a doctor's appointment, or me and my mom and I get dressed in the morning, get my daughter ready for school, and then I have a carpool, so we alternate the days. So that's when we leave the house. I order my groceries in, and so I am at this point I'm a wreck. I'm doing therapy by Zoom once a week,
So
and
you're not going out for your counseling sessions. You're in the house.
and how and with the counseling session, I'm my mother's anchor. So my mom is going to follow me all day. I had to put a gate up so I can at least use the bathroom.
Or the moments where you have to take them in the bathroom because that's where I am now. It's like I have to go. Nobody's here. She's still up. She's still active. So there are times when I have to actually go in there, lock the door so I can use the restroom. With her in there with me because I can't leave her out by herself because
Mm,
she's still active. She's walking around. So I do feel you there. And even, I think sometimes that's the part that is not understood, right? If you're not in this space. These are the type of things that happen that people don't want. There's an ignorance to it, right? Just because people don't know, they're ignorant, just like we are ignorant to other things because
right.
that's not our situation. And so, but there are certain things that, like for me, when it comes to my mom going out. I don't take her out as much anymore because of the difficulty in getting her in the car. It's like World War III to get her in the car. And so you have to try to get her in, and then she's fighting, she's holding on to the door while you're trying to put her in. And this is like going to doctor's appointments. Thankfully, I don't have to do that anymore. They come to me now with her being in hospice, but that's what going out looks like. And then, if you go out, when you get to where you're going, there's a battle with trying to get her back in the car. Literally, you're having to struggle to get her in the car. You're struggling to get her out of the car. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so much simpler if you just don't do it.
It's exhausting.
To get her out of the house. And all of that can be mentally and emotionally draining.
I was drowning. And we live in a part of California where majority are where I'm in the middle. Like my family is pretty much like with California traffic is the worst. Something that could really take about an hour, 50 minutes can turn into 3 hours trying to get in. And I burnt my car up going in to see my family, taking my daughter so she could play with her cousin, seeing my godson, taking my mom to her sister's house. And the last time I did that, my mom was riding in the front seat. We're on the freeway and she opens the door.
Oh no.
Yeah. So now we're talking about my mental is being challenged because now I'm like, okay, I can't drive. I can't go out because she can't be around people.
Safety lock on the door.
Well, now she's in the back seat with the child lock on. But then like the Twilight Zone movie, the music is and everything is a hazard, and I'm spiraling, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know what to do. I had to get down on my knees and get to praying is what I had to do.
Yeah.
Stop trying to rely on my own understanding. That's what I had to do. And journaling, I was listening to you yesterday, that journaling that saved me. Before I came not invisible, and I'm seeing now, I journaled. I have I've been journaling for 6 years. I know what to do with this pain. I know how to heal. I have to heal, because if I don't, I'm no good to anybody. I'm no good to the generational curses that I'm trying to prevent my daughter from having to walk this mean, crazy world with all that extra luggage, all that extra baggage. So one of my really good friends that I grew up with, she said, beloved, I really think that somebody can benefit from your words. And I said, what? She said, you got to do something with this. And so, and it was born. And now I write on Substack. I just started that, because you can't put everything on the Facebook. But I can pour out my journal and pieces on Substack. And I started, the healing came into play that year that I was here by myself. And I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna work. I felt my own health, like weird stuff was happening to me. It was stress. I was just I started taking the Manjaro, those, and I said, okay, I got to lose this weight. Well, I couldn't stay on that because it started affecting my pancreas. So I said, okay, well, God said that I can't do it the fast way. I got to do it I have to a lifestyle change. I have to heal myself. And I started doing shadow work through my journaling. And it just got easier and easier and easier to start unboxing all of that pain and that stress. And I could feel it in my jaws, how tense and tight, where the stress is just sitting on me.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, in my first, when I got into those groups, it was just like, whoa. People were like, thank you for saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Because we're carrying all this weight.
Yeah. And often feeling like we're the only ones, right? That is how this platform, as well as my social media platform, because you realize, for me, same thing. It's healing. Mine started out with the funny moments. I would share what I call my mama moments, and it was just the funny things that she would say, and it's almost like people would just wait for that. But then, as things started changing, it's like, wait a minute, some of this stuff is not funny at all. But I would still share what I started saying not so funny, because no, it's not. This is real. And the other side is because I want people to understand that, yeah, there's some difficulty that comes along with it. But as we continue to share our journeys, as we continue to be honest and open about the realities of what this is, that helps people to understand, and not just understand, but they can look at two daughters, two women who are in this thing full throttle, and look at us and realize that, you know what, if they can do it, so can I. Because so many people throw in the towel. So many people are like, that's not for me. I'm not doing that.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it is. Because reality is it's not for everybody. But even as I was sharing last night on the other podcast, the reality is you may not be the one who is there full throttle in it, but there's still something that can be done. You don't have to be the one because what we share, and I'm sure I can speak for you as well when I say this, what we share is only a very, very, very small portion of what reality really is for us. You cannot get, people would probably be beyond surprised to see the whole full reality of what it's like. But I'm always very protective, and I'm sure you are as well. I'm very protective of my mom's dignity.
Yes.
So you won't ever see the full of everything, but I share enough that you are able to see the reality of what it's like on this particular journey. And so I agree 100%. Journaling is healing. Just like I said last night, I'm very big. I journal a lot, especially in those moments, because I'm a great believer that you have to get it out here. All of everything that we deal with, positive or negative, all of it begins in the mind. That's why the Bible tells us we have to renew our mind. We have to daily renew our mind. Let our minds be transformed. Because if you don't, if it stays in your head long enough, it's going to make its way to your heart eventually. And that's where it becomes extremely dangerous, when it's negative, when you have all of that stuff in your heart. And I'm not just talking about heart attacks. I'm talking about, anger. I'm talking about, bitterness and all that stuff that you just don't ever want to settle in your heart, especially when that's not who you are.
Right.
And there are some people who, they've just become angry because, it's hard. It is. It is a hard place. It can be a lonely place. However, there's a grace for us being exactly where we are. Think about all the people, right, who you have touched since you made a decision that you were going to heal. And not only are you healing, but God is allowing you also help to heal other people. And that's the beautiful thing about it all. It doesn't seem good sometimes, but the beautiful part of it is God gets to use, if we allow him to, he gets to use every part of our story for his good. And that's my biggest thing. It's not about me. It's my life. I say that a lot. It's my life, but it's his glory. And I've determined with everything in me to make sure, I don't get it all right, but I get enough right, but I do my best to make sure that um, it still gets the glory. It doesn't belong to me. So, I've read your post, and they are here. And you do see the people that are saying thank you, because I don't know why, but sometimes people, they're afraid of saying it out loud. I don't know if it's that, I think that people are going to look at us different, or what, but sometimes it does just take that one person to open up and to say, and it frees other people to say, you know what. And I'm a big proponent of sharing your journey. Right? You don't have to go in every single detail, but to me, you can kind of look at it as this is your testimony. And sometimes you have to testify while you're in the fire before victory fully comes, so that other people know that even in the fire, I still got something to say, or I'm not allowing this to defeat me. And so, that's where it is. And the invisible journey has become beautiful, because even though you've tried to remain invisible for so long, or you were invisible for quite a while, the beautiful thing is about it is that right now, in this particular season, God is making you visible to the world. And that's the thing about it. You tried to stay in the background, and you weren't. And now it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see you out there, and other people are being blessed. Let me ask you this. What do you think people don't see about caregiving? What is it from your perspective? What is it that they don't see about caregiving? Because it's not always, caregiving isn't always invisible. But doing it can be. So what is it that they don't see?
They don't see the heaviness of caregiving. You are in the same breath grieving and loving someone that is fading right before your very eyes. And people don't think about how heavy that is for the caregiver. It is. When I go to my mom's doctor's appointments, they just they see me and they see it all over my face, and they just want to hug me, even though they don't provide the best care to me. But they still, they're human first, and they want to, do you need a hug? Just they want me to come in, because they see how heavy it is, and they say yes, that loved one doesn't remember, and that has got to be scary. But you got to somebody that a caregiver that is losing pieces of themselves as they're trying to protect the dignity and allow this person, God's creature, to be comfortable and be cared for, and respected. Because caregiving, sometimes I lose it, and I'll sit down and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. She doesn't know any better. And at the end of the day, I don't care if she knows better or not. That's my mother. I have to respect my mother. But that you just look at a person. You don't see everything that human being is going through, trying to take care of someone, and we lose ourselves. As I'm trying to heal myself, invisible journey is I read everything, because it gives me, is in a strange way, is giving me the strength. At that, my mother's been up since 2:15 this morning, and so have I. um but those posts, when I share what I'm feeling, and those um caregiver friends, is what one of the beautiful lady, and you meet some of the most interesting, people through conversation. um and this particular lady, when I had posted my service picture, um I don't want to touch politics, but I had posted my service picture, was when I was in the Navy Reserves, and this lady said, she shared this link with me. She said, I was in the civil rights movement, and she shared her story, and I went and researched her, and I'm like, oh my God. So she's one of my top fans. And I read all this, and it strengthens me to get through that day. Sometimes it really does, and my words help someone else. So me wanting to heal myself, it turned out to be, um I'm helping someone else,
Mm.
which is a beautiful thing. And so, caregivers, don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself in this journey. And when this season is over, all this hard stuff is, we have to find the blessing in it. Don't
Absolutely.
don't lose sight of the blessing, caregivers. I know it's hard. I know waking up at 2 in the morning is hard. I know caring for someone, being their motor. I have to start her. I have to literally put the spoon, the special spoon in her hand, and move it up to her mouth to give her a jump start. Once I do that, she can do it. Isn't that a beautiful thing, to be able to love somebody like that?
It's beautiful. See, my mom is opposite. She has no recognition of potential. And so even if you put it in front of her, she doesn't know what to do with it. But that made me think about, I went to an event yesterday with elder care services. And so my daughter, Caitlin, the one that just graduated, so she had to have some community service hours for one of her classes by graduation. And so she decided to volunteer with elder care services at their adult day program. And so we had an event yesterday. I stood on the board of directors. And as a part of the event, they were auctioning off some of their paintings and things that the adults at the program painted. And so the young lady walked up to me, director, it was about to end. So she shared with me that one of their adults there, she has gone wild. They do arts and crafts and all that stuff. And she said that, the lady really wanted to paint before she could see it. She said, I work with a lot of students, and I've never seen anyone. She said she wanted to paint. She said her father painted. And she started painting with her. And they painted a beautiful, beautiful picture. And I told her I bought it because I'm like, she can't. But it's things like that people miss. And the same lady, if I remember correctly, she doesn't have a lot of things. She doesn't have. And so, when I look at you, I look at you, absolutely right. So many things. I watch, my mom is in her later stage. She can still sit down. She can still walk. Praise God. She can walk. But she sits down a lot more. And over these last 2 days, I've just been watching her. Some of it forced because she's sitting there. like today, all day, she has this thing with her hand, and most of the day today, she just sits there and she's like trimming her hand. And you're watching this, right? You're watching them. Or the other thing that she's picked up, she just
Mm.
scratches. She's scratching on the chair. She's scratching in the bed. So much so that she has literally scratched holes in the sheets. I literally just went to
Mm.
that, bought two more sets of sheets because even when I cut her fingernails, because she's constantly just scratching, there's holes. And I finally figured that out. I thought it was from me having to wash them every day. That's the other part. She had the spitting thing going on. And so, I'm having to wash spreads and sheets and everything every other day. So I'm thinking initially, man, I've watched these so much. And then I realized because I went and bought a brand new set, and
Mm.
literally within a few days, and I'd just gone in the night before, I washed them, cleaned them, and I come in from out of town from traveling from work, and I went in and I washed them. And when I get there, I'm like, "Ooh, why is there a hole in these sheets?" And I realized that's what and I would hear her up scratching, but I didn't realize, but that's where she is now. It's like, I don't know if that's like a comfort thing or what. But and you watch that, and as you said, you're watching them just continuously, just, down and down and down. And so that is the thing, people are, it's no different from anybody else. Everybody has, like, right now, especially, there's a lot going on. It's even heavier for other caregivers, and this has been like such a great conversation. I'm gonna bring you back for part two because we've just been talking, and this has been amazing. But I don't want to go too far beyond our time, so we're gonna definitely do a part two and come back and deal
Yes, I would
with
love
some of the
to.
other things, because I do want to get to, even with your daughter, that's a whole nother. You talk about the sandwich generation. You talk about what that looks like. Your husband being gone for a year and it's just you. What does that look like? And I'm caring for my mom. I also have this little person over here who depends on me, who I'm sure.
You see all this gray hair?
And I get it, right? Gas is ridiculously high right now, but I'm one of the ones that send back saying thank you, because I literally probably, unless I'm traveling for work or having, go out of town for uh, my daughter or something else that's going on, I probably fill up my car once a month. And right now, that's beautiful because when I did fill up the other week, I traveled out of town last weekend, and my car was just a little under half full, and I determined again, oh, half full is empty for me from now on. Half full is empty. If it's a half full, that's empty. But so I'm grateful that I'm not having to spend much more, but there's just so much that goes into that. And, ultimately, even with your story, with your journey, helping people to realize that, yeah, there's that invisible act of wife, mother, daughter, and then trying your best to find some time for you yourself. And so we're going to part two on that, and I'll get with you after and let you know when we come back for part two.
Okay.
And we're going to get ready to close this part of the conversation out for the night. But before I do close out this part, I want to do what I'm going to title Finish the Sentence. We're going to have a Finish the Sentence segment. And I want you to finish these questions for me.
Okay.
People think caregiving is, but really it is. Finish that sentence for me.
People think caregiving is easy, but it is the heaviest, loneliest journey anyone could ever be on.
The hardest part about caregiving is,
Grieving in real time.
wow, that's a good, that's a good. I miss,
Freedom.
all right. I wish someone would,
It used to be see me. Now it's receive my words and allow some of my pain or my healing to help you heal.
love it. I love it. We are going to definitely do a part two. We're going to come back and talk about a few more things, but I do want to thank you.
You're
Thank you so much for answering my call. Thank you for not thinking, oh, who's this creepy person messaging me on Facebook?
I was like, oh my God, I called my friend. Somebody see me.
Absolutely. I see you. And not just me, there's a whole bunch of people out there that see you as well. So I want to thank you for joining me
Thank you
tonight
for having
and
me.
giving us this first glimpse into your world. So I'm going to say this to you. We are connected. I know you are an only child. So now you have another sister. You have another one, and I'm here for you. As I told you when we first talked, as you stated earlier, we're all, I often say we're on the same journey. We might be on a different road, but it's the same journey. And it's a journey of care. And my journey may not look like yours. And even with this platform, we talk about, have guests that are on who just so happen they happen to also be caregivers for loved ones who live with dementia. But this Caregivers Corner podcast is for caregivers, anybody who's caring for somebody. So I think that caregivers really are superheroes. Next week, next Thursday, I have another guest that is coming on. She happens to be a mother who is a caregiver for two children with special needs. And so caregivers are caregivers. And so we'll have more information out there for that. But I am glad to have you on tonight, Tiffany. And I do believe that, it's only going up from here. So many other people need exactly what you are sharing. And it is bringing life and it is bringing healing to all of them, all of us. And so tonight's conversation, it reminded us that caregivers carry weights that people never see. Behind the strength and the responsibilities is a human trying to breathe, rest, love, and survive too. That's exactly what we're trying to do, survive too. If you connect to a caregiver any way at all, be there. Support them. Don't wait until they need you because they may never let you know that they do. Just show up and do whatever it is you can do. And every caregiver that's watching out there, know that you deserve support, you deserve care, and you deserve to not carry this alone. Before we get off, I do want to give you a couple reminders as well. One thing I want to be able to do, I want you all to do me a favor. I'm going to put a link in the chat. I'm going to put a link in the chat, and I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go out and I want you to click on this link and I want you to take action for it. You all know, those of you that follow me on social media, you know that I am an advocate for Laura. I believe in advocating because my mom can no longer speak for herself. And so I have become her voice. And so I spend a lot of time advocating. And so what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to take action for me. There's a call to action that we have out. I work closely with the Alzheimer's Association. And so there's a act. There's an ASAP Act. It is the Alzheimer's Screening and Prevention Act. And this act would enable Medicare access to blood-based early detection tests. So now there is actual blood test that can detect early Alzheimer's. And so it gives millions of families a fighting chance against Alzheimer's. And so right now, if you would take action for me. The only thing that I would need you to do is click on that link. If you can't click on it, you should be able to copy and paste it. Just go on there. All you have to do is put your information in and just go out there and ask your representatives in Congress to support this act. This is a bipartisan act which gives the Secretary of Health and Human Services the authority to approve Medicare coverage of this blood test screening for dementia if the Secretary determines such action, if such coverage rather is warranted. While this would allow for quicker coverage, ASAP Act ensures that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services can continue to use an evidence-based process to determine the parameters of that Medicare coverage. For those of you that know anything about CMMS, you'll know that that's important. So just all you got to do is go out there, click that button, take action. Ask your representatives to support this act. All right. I want to also remind you of the devotional and prayer journal that's out there. That is My Favorite Girl. Hey Caregiver is what I have entitled it. That is the devotional and prayer journal. You can get that on my website, as well as the Hey Caregiver, the album volume 1. You can go out there and listen to it. It is I put it together to help strengthen, empower, and inspire caregivers. As we always say, keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and keep caring. And then I want to remind you, those of you that are in the Leon County area, on May 19th, the Tallahassee Memory Disorder Clinic, they will be having their educational class series that is from 4 to 5:30 on May 19th, and it's going to be over at the Eastside Branch Library. It is free. They're talking about trauma, stress, and the aging brain. It's going to be led by Megan Coachman. So if you're in this area, please go out and it's free. Go and join that class. And then I want to remind you as well of the Alzheimer's Project, their 41st annual Alzheimer's disease and other memory disorder. This is their education and training conference for caregivers. They have changed up the flyer. It's beautiful, but they've also put the schedule out there. And so you can go out there and see what's out there. You can visit my website, visit the My Favorite Girl Facebook page, and that information is out there as well. So they have a whole schedule that's out there for you. So please support that. It's registration. Again, this is a free event. With their event, they also will be providing respite care. So if you don't even have an excuse to say, I couldn't go because my loved one, I couldn't bring them, you can take them with you, but you have to register that so that they can know how many people will be in attendance. And then last but not least, don't forget to check out my website, www.priscillajjohnlouis.com. Out there, you will find some caregiver resources that includes agencies, caregiver support, events, and so much more. If there's an event going on that you would like for us, an event that relates to caregivers or caregiver related things like that, please reach out to me. You can email me. My email is right there, Yep, that's my website, but the email is on the website. So check out the website. We have some resources out there as well. So this episode has blessed you, encouraged you, or made you feel just a little less alone. I ask you, please share it with someone who may need it too. And don't forget to subscribe while you are out there. And remind you as well, go ahead and reach out, contact Tiffany on Facebook and Instagram. Follow her out there. She's on Instagram and Facebook, The Invisible Journey. And you can go out there as well and find the information with her Substack. I promise you, it is worth you reading. It will bring healing and encouragement unto you as well. And so until next time, as I always say, keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and by all means, keep caring. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.